What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the lab with another quest build. I have a generically super rare blueprint for those of you looking to run on a straight killer at the point guard position. This thing can absolutely fly through the skies. That is going to be an offensive juggernaut that can lead any team into battle. It can be an absolute horror monster that is going to kill your opponent if they dare line up across from you. This thing has shades of Jason Voorhees, Ghostface, and Michael Myers. And its basketball comparisons range from a lot of different players like Jared Bayless, John Wall, the prison god himself Hook Mitchell, OJ Mayo, and Derrick Rose. This is the 6'4" Pure Slasher. This thing can absolutely fly through the sky while dominating guards inside the arc. It's got great ball handle capabilities. It has a defensive Russell Westbrook type mindset, and physically it's going to be an absolute demon to try to match up with. So jumping right in, we're going to make this at point guard. You're going to be 6'4", 230 pounds with a 6'11" wingspan, and you can go body shape burly, but we're going body shape built because we want to look menacing on the wood. So follow along to a T and then tinker at your own discretion in your builder to get this name. You can make it at different versions, but we're going to get our close shot to a 67. We're going to get our driving layup to an 81. A lot of these are going to be badge threshes. We're going to max out our driving dunk to a 96. That's going to give us that Hall of Fame limitless takeoff, which is going to be buck wild on this build. We're going to be punting standing dunk, your 6'4", not applicable. And then we're going to max out post control on this build to an 87. That's going to give us an array of Hall of Fame post moves on tier 1, along with 23 finishing badges. It definitely has that Derrick Rose and Dwayne Wade type capabilities when attacking the rack, and that post game is going to be gruesome too because people aren't going to be expecting a 6'4" player to have this kind of footwork on the block or on that midi post. So you're going to catch a lot of players off guard when you do start to go back to the basket. But this thing can shoot as well. We're going to get our mid-range to a 77, and we're going to get our 3-ball to a 79. That's going to give us 19 shooting badges, and then we're going to put the rest on free throw to a 74. That's some extra atch. But 19 shooting badges, when people see Slasher, they're going to probably assume you want to attack the paint, and you're not necessarily going to have a jump shot, but that couldn't be further from the truth on this build. I have an inside the arc playmaker at 6'3", with a 77 3-ball, and I'm cashing out because if you know your jump shot, you're going to be just fine. And this thing is an all-purpose scorer with these kind of shooting mechanics. And then playmaking, we're going to get our pass actually to a 79. If you go higher, you can make this build a slashing playmaker. Then we're going to get our ball handle to a 90. That's going to give us some really nice options in dribble packages. And then we're going to get our speed with ball up a couple clicks to a 72 for another badge. It's going to give us 21 playmaking badges. Obviously, this is going to be a primary ball handler, bringing the pill up the court. You're going to have sufficient pass accuracy, and you're going to be able to ISO on this build for those of you who like to play with your food a little bit. But then defensively, this thing is no slouch. We're going to get our interior defense to a 57. We're going to get our perimeter defense to a 79. Our stealies to a 72. Our blocks to a 65. Our defensive rebounds maxed out to a 93. And then our offense rebounds to an 82. That's going to give us 22 defensive badges. If you up the perimeter defense to an 88 or higher, or if you get your perimeter D and stealies to around an 86, you will change the name to a two-way slasher, also extremely hot. But I wanted to prioritize rebounding on this build, a little bit of Russell Westbrook, because that's going to unlock an even gruesomer play style. And this thing is an absolute killer. Defensively, you don't have it in the name, so people are going to think they can attack you, but at 6'4", 230 girthy pounds, you're going to have a really nice hitbox to throw your weight around, and you're going to be a great defensive option even though it's not in the name. And then physically, we're going to get our speed to a 71, get our acceleration to an 81, get our strength to a 44, get our vertical to an 82 for those elite contact dunks, and then put the rest on stamina to an 89. So giving this build a once over, 23 finishing, 19 shooting, 21 playmaking, and 22 defensive badges is an extremely well-rounded build. You can definitely take this in a couple different variants, has an extremely high driving dunk, it can shoot sufficiently, it has great ball handling, and then defensively it is a nice well-rounded sort of a catfishy type build that can help on the defensive glass, attack the offensive glass, and play good sound perimeter defense. Some of you might want to max out physicals a little bit more, but I don't see a huge difference in speed and acceleration in the 70s and 80s. But keep in mind, to get that pure slasher name, you're going to want a high ball handle and driving dunk while not going too high on pass accuracy, shooting, and perimeter defense. But this tree is rather rare, so you actually can change it up and get some other gruesome names. Going on takeover, obviously you get slashing, shot creating, rebounding, and post scoring. I think going advanced post moves and then adding like box out wall would really make this build even more well-rounded. Like I said, more like that Russell Westbrook. But you're gonna end up with that straight killer out of a horror film, the 6'4" pure slasher. For those of you who play on builds with a 90 plus dunk on a smaller guard type hatch, know how dangerous those things can be on the wood. You don't see many pure slashers in 2K anymore. It's kind of rare. Most people are obviously going to prioritize more shooting, playmaking, defense in order to not get this name. But I think seeing a pure slasher out there could be a really hot catfish type build, because this thing obviously can do much more than just slash. And when you do play on a build like this with a name that implies a specific playstyle, a lot of your opponents are going to think you're going to be brain dead and just attacking the rack and trying to dunk everything, which you might end up being a little guilty when playing on a build like this, because you probably expect to just dunk everything, but it definitely can take your opponents by surprise with everything that this build can do. I really like playing on some of these undersized slashers this year. What do you guys think of this build and this blueprint? Would you invest your hard-earned VC in this build? Let me know in the comments, because you know what time it is. Quest Sparrow